172 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and over $60,000. This is an IS 500. And at almost the exact same price, this is the M340i. It has 382 horsepower, V58 engine, and all-wheel drive. Ever since Lexus got rid of the ISF and replaced it with this IS 500 F Sport performance car, it no longer competes with the M3 like the original ISF did. This IS 500 now competes with the lesser M340. They're both so very different, yet they somehow compete. In the battle of luxury and performance, which sedan is better? The 3 Series essentially introduced the idea of a sports sedan to the US. It's already made a name for itself with over 50 years of history. The 3 Series nameplate is an icon that took decades to cultivate. Not so much so with the IS, because within 2 decades, everyone knew exactly what the IS was. A luxurious, reliable 4-door sedan, but a little bit bland and not very sporty like the 3 Series, which was pretty much the exact opposite. It was sporty, but leaves your driveway looking like a rainbow from all the oil leaks. But all that might not be true anymore with the introduction of the F Sport performance brand lineup from Lexus. This might actually be fun and sporty now, especially with the magnificent 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. Meanwhile, BMW reliability has shot up through the roof, and it's been better than ever since the introduction of the B58, a turbocharged inline 6-cylinder that's so reliable that even Toyota uses it in their cars now. So it's a whole different ballpark now. But let's begin with how they sound. The BMW sounds great with the burbles and all, but sorry BMW, the V8 sounds way better on the Lexus IS, so we're taking that first. In fact, the IS actually has a valve actuator, so when you get right under 3K, it opens up and it starts to sound really gnarly. I think this sounds amazing. You can actually see the actual flap open when you rev the car and park. Sport Plus mode, you just cannot beat the sound of this V8, oh my god. You get that crazy engine noise, crazy intake noise, and the exhaust is actually a little quieter than you'd think. So if you were to buy this car, just throw on a nice exhaust system and it's perfect. You just can't beat it. This thing gives me chills every single time I step on it. Even for a stock car, this thing is actually a little bit louder than the IS. The IS has louder engine noise, but the exhaust on this sounds quite a bit louder, and you do get your burbles, and you also have your valve, so when you throw it into comfort mode, it becomes pretty much dead silent. Sounding fast is one thing, but which one is actually faster? This M340 definitely pins you in your seat. It is down about 90 horsepower and 26 pound-feet of torque, and it's also 60 pounds heavier than the IS, just shy of 4,000 pounds. So theoretically, this is slower, but let's find out. From a dig, the all-wheel drive on the M340 will give it an advantage off the line, so there's no chance for the IS because it is rear-wheel drive. So how about we do it from a roll? Once they're both moving, the results are much closer. The M340 is still a tad bit faster, but they remain pretty much the same speed. Yeah, that is very interesting because this is down on power, heavier in weight, but it's still quite a bit faster. That's because BMW really downplays their numbers. So this thing actually makes probably near 450 horsepower to actually beat that IS. The IS 500 is no slouch though. It's still very impressive. Yeah, Lexus could slap on a turbocharger into this V8 and make crazy power. Imagine if they did that, put in a mild hybrid, make 700 horsepower out of this thing. But that's not the point of this car. This car is supposed to be pure, it's raw, no turbochargers, no superchargers, no hybrids. That's it. This is as genuine as you could get. And it's also one of the best V8s in the market. It's the same engine you find in the LC500 and the RCF. It has very silky smooth power delivery. It's spine tingling just to listen to the car. Oh my god. Downshift. Pedals are alright. They're not as quick as the BMW, but it sounds better. Who cares what cap these pedals when you get that V8 noise? Part of its charm is the natural aspiration. Even the best of the best turbochargers still feel lazy compared to how responsive a V8 is. The M340 is faster for sure. Oh my god, oh, it's loose here and you're slipping. Oh my god, you can get really sideways. And it might not sound as good as the IS, but it still sounds pretty damn great. Downshift. And these shifts sound so crispy. BMW is the master of inline-six engines. This M340's 3-liter turbocharged unit is no exception. It's a very linear power band. Even when you're not in a low gear, you have quite a bit of torque immediately, so it doesn't feel as heavy as the weight suggests. And thanks to the fact that it's an inline-six and not a V6, it is a little bit more balanced, it feels nicer, and it also sounds better. You can literally just hop on the internet, download a quick tune, and you'll be racing cars triple the price. This is the modern day 2JZ, hence why the new Toyota Supra uses this engine in their cars. The turbo spool is also insane. Yeah, it sounds so good and it pulls. The ZF also feels much more crispy, like you can actually hear the shift noises, and it responds a little bit faster than the 6-speed on the IS. I will say it does feel a little bit rough though when you're slowing down. On downshifts you can feel the little jerk. Let's put it in auto mode, even in comfort mode. Yeah, it feels like it's a little bit jerky. I feel like every single BMW is like this, versus the Lexus where it's silky smooth, you feel nothing. The transmission in auto mode works pretty well. It's smooth and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Paddles could be a little bit faster and more crisp though. There's no jolts when you accelerate, there's no jolts when you brake, kind of like in the BMW. The car just feels smoother. And although it is almost a full-fledged sports car, it is comfortable. It's a lot comfier and softer than the M340. You do get your adaptive dampers here, and in custom mode you can change that. And when you put it in normal mode, it's actually a very good daily. I think it rides a little softer, which is a good thing if you're dealing the car. The M340 feels quite a bit harsh, and unless you're taking it to the track every weekend, I think this is just a better daily in terms of ride comfort. It's also a little more well insulated. There's better padding all around. The interior feels just a little bit more premium, even though it's outdated, if you get what I mean. With comfort, you do lose a bit of driving dynamics, but don't get me wrong, this thing is still an absolute beast. Oh my god. I love the rev counter here. I like how it changes to orange or red when you get near red line. Yeah, this thing is so good. You get your Yamaha tuned rear suspensions, you get your limited slip differential, you got your adaptive dampers, and of course the V8 engine. It's just a perfect recipe for fun. Turn-in feels solid, chassis tuning is pretty good. It does feel a little bit front heavy, which is not too surprising when they have a whole V8 in the front. Oh man, this thing sounds so good. Just listen to that V8 downshift. Into this corner, and goddamn, a little bit of understeer, and yeah. It is a luxury car, but it is still a performance vehicle. It's not a full-fledged F sport car, but it stays very well connected to the road. It's a little bit on the softer side. It soaks up all the bumps really well, and the ride is just smooth, like insanely smooth. The steering feels very silky. It kind of feels like you're driving through hot butter, not in a bad way. It's just everything about it is smooth. The brakes are smooth, the shifts are smooth, the acceleration is smooth. The M3 just isn't as buttery. It's a little bit harsher, and there's no doubt in that. But that does mean it shines in handling. The suspension is quite a bit more rigid. You do get a 50-50 weight distribution here and amazing chassis tuning. It just turns in a little bit better than Lexus. You can also get this in a rear-wheel drive configuration and an all-wheel drive configuration, which is great for snow and launches. And even if you do get the all-wheel drive version, once you put it in Sport Plus and traction off, you can get that back out almost as well as a rear-wheel drive car can, because most of the power is still sent to the rear. You basically trade in comfort and daily ability for driving dynamics, but both aren't that far off from each other in either categories. Where there is a huge gap between these two cars is the fuel economy. The EPA rating for the M340 is 26 miles per gallon versus 20 miles per gallon in the IS, but no one really gives a crap when you get all that sound from that V8. Yeah, that sounds so good. I love. Before I continue to spill my heart out for the sound of this V8, let's actually talk about the design of these cars. The IS has been out for 13 years now, and it's aged really well. I love how it looks after the 2021 update. More aggressive than the M340. It looks so good in this Vector Blue. I also really like the taillights with the strip design. The BBS forged wheels look great, and the Predator grille is very aggressive. Longer front end and a hood bulge compared to the regular IS350, so you can fit the V8. The M340 is bigger, it's longer, it looks great too. It's more conservative looking, but the IS honestly just looks a little bit better. It stands out a little bit more, but the inside is a different story. The IS interior is a bit dated. You have CarPlay, which is basically all you need. You also get this mechanical gauge, which I think is really cool. You don't really need the full digital dash like the M340, although the digital dash is nice because you can do a lot more with it, but I don't mind this dashboard at all. More features and gizmos in the M340 for sure. This is a pre-LCI M342, so the new one has even more tech, and they got rid of the climate control and put everything on a screen now. So if you like that, then the LCI M340 is the way to go. The IS is just more traditional, nothing really wrong with it. I love that in both cars you can sit really low and the cockpit surrounds you. Lexus thankfully added a 10.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which finally features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it is wired, so you won't need to connect your phone. Both have adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist, blind spot monitors, 360 cameras, parking sensors, but the tech on the M340 is a little bit newer and it's better. Everything still works perfectly fine in the IS though. The rear seats in the IS is tighter, no USB ports back here, and you don't get your own climate control unlike in the M340. In terms of trunk space, you get 11 cubic feet of space in the IS and 17 cubic feet of space in the M340, but you do get a spare tire in the Lexus and you don't get one in the BMW. So practicality and feature wise, the M340 is just automatically gonna win since it came out much more recently compared to this very old IS. But when the new gen IS releases, it's going to be a whole new ballpark. Purity or tech is a question you gotta ask. The M340 is high-tech, turbocharger, mild hybrid, all the bells and whistles, while the IS is raw, unfiltered, reliable, and pure. Nowadays, when you look around, all these cars are boring as hell. Everything is a blob of silver, white, and black. Everything is a little four-cylinder with no personality or flavor. Everything is built to serve the masses, sell to everyone, and offend no one. These two cars, however, are built by either F-Sport or M-Division, actual car enthusiasts who understand the buyers of these cars, because they themselves are those buyers. Look at what happened with the new Mercedes C63. No one's paying close to $100,000 for a luxury sports car with a four-cylinder instead of a V8. They want something authentic, made for them, and not the general masses. The M340 is a great blend of tech, features, comfort, with a spice of personality. It's hands down just a better car on paper. It's faster, it handles better, it's better on feel, and it's great with both appealing to the general mass market, yet still be fun and exciting. However, the IS is next level unique. It's more authentic, it's unfiltered, it's raw, heck, it even gets me excited just to look at it. The IS is a very specific flavor of car. You can't really get a V8 like this in a luxury sedan anymore at this price point. This car is not for everyone, but it's truly special. Your basic non-car influencer just won't understand. Thanks for watching. Lexus, please don't stop making V8s.